Greetings everyone, welcome to the channel. In this Diablo 4 video, we're going to be doing a full Paragon tree breakdown video. So this is going to help you maximize your potential and hopefully get you even more power than you already had before by following the steps in this video. So first off, everyone is going to start with a starting Paragon board. Now your goal here towards the end game, if you're in the early end game, which is level 50 to level 80, you're going to want to socket exploit into your main starting board. Now every class has the exploit glyph. Now if you guys don't know what the exploit glyph does, is it makes any enemy vulnerable for 20 seconds. It makes an enemy vulnerable for 3 seconds, but it can't happen for more than 20 seconds per enemy. So early end game, level 50 to level 80, this is going to greatly increase your power because if you didn't know, vulnerability is just completely broken in Diablo 4 right now. So definitely socket exploit if you're early end game. Now, if you're late end game, levels 80 to level 100, that's when you want to switch your glyphs around and socket something that's going to be more beneficial. So for this one, we chose Werebear because we are a druid and we are a Pulverize Druid. So we're going to be in Werebear form like a majority, like I would say over 90% of the time. So you get a 10% damage reduction while in Werebear form, but you also get 92.4% damage while in Werebear form. So this glyph, for example, we're going to go off this glyph, so it's got 40 willpower, right? So around after you rank your glyphs up by doing Nightmare Dungeons to the max rank, which is level 15, to give you the max radius, you're going to want to go and hit every single one of these willpowers. You're going to notice it's going to say normal node. It's going to have, 5 willpower, and then beneath that, it's going to say 6.6% damage while in Werebear form. You just want to scan around, make sure you have all of the glyphs that have that bonus, that stuff that is highlighted green. So that is the first tip right there. Make sure you can get the maximum amount of whatever the stat is, that your requirements, and make sure you have all of your glyphs at max radius rank, which is level 15. Then after you get them to level 15, the ones that you're using the most, focus on getting those ones up to level 21 so you get the maximum benefit. Moving on to rare nodes. You only want to hit the rare nodes that are going to give you a noticeable power increase. So for this one, 10 willpower, that's a noticeable increase, but you also get that 13.2% damage while in Werebear form, which is great. Now this one on the left side gives you 20% damage, but also gives you 10 willpower and then another 13.2% damage while in Werebear form. So that is fantastic. Willpower is our class's main stat for the druid, so you want to focus on hitting those. Now moving on into the actual boards, so beyond the starting boards, what you want to focus on. So you can see here, we're taking the path that gives us mostly our class main stat. The first one we're going to hit up right here is the rare node reclamation. Gives us 16 to maximum spirit, but the main one we're after on this one is 2 spirit on kill. And then we're going to work our way down and we're going to hit the legendary node, which is ancestral guidance for this board. After hitting that, we're going to work our way up. You'll notice here we're kind of making a straight path, only focusing on the rare nodes in the tree that actually are the beneficial. So for this one off to the left right here, 8% potion healing, 10 life regen when not damaged recently. That's absolutely garbage. I wouldn't recommend picking that one at all. This one over here to the right, 16 to maximum spirit, 4% maximum life. Maximum spirit really doesn't matter all that much, and maximum, whatever your class resource is, it really doesn't matter. So just avoid those ones at all costs. Working our way up, we got core skill damage and we got basic skill damage. This one is an easy pick for us because it boosts our pulverize, but also boosts our spike, which is our basic and core skill respectively. And then it gives you increased damage. And then we're working our way over to the socket. That is going to be your main focus on every one of your boards. You're only going to want to select on average 2 rare nodes and then your socket. That's going to be how kind of how this is going to work, right? So on our second socket here, we have the glyph socket Undaunted, which is going to give us 97% damage while fortified. Same story here. This one, it wants you to get intelligence. So you're going to scan everything. If it has that little green underneath it, you're going to want to pick that up. So anything that is highlighted green, you're going to want to get. And this rare node right here, Harmony, another easy pick because it gives us willpower, which is our main stat, and it also gives us core skill damage. And you can go ahead and pick up the nodes that are close to the magic nodes if they give you good benefits. Like this one's core skill damage, of course we're going to pick that up, and the one down here, intelligence, which is has that highlighted green, that's why we chose that one. So moving on from our second board, we'll continue going up and kind of show you which ones we picked. So we branched here off to the right to get us this rare node right here, 8% damage reduction while fortified and fortified generation. You guys can kind of see the theme here. We're going with stuff that you use the most. That's going to be the same for all classes. If you're fortified a lot, then you want to get stuff that boosts fortify, you know, and core skill damage is obviously an easy pick. Damage to healthy enemies, that just helps you whittle them down. But the most important thing on this one is obviously that 100 armor, because if you guys didn't know, armor is very, very potent in Diablo 4. So working our way up to the Glyph socket, we're picking up this one, Grizzly, obviously, because it gives you willpower C. So you're going to notice a common theme here. Any of these rare nodes that give you your class main stat, you want to prioritize, because the class main stat increases all of your skills damage. Any skill is going to get benefited from having willpower or whatever your equivalent class main stat is, whether that be intelligence, strength, dexterity, or willpower. But you also want to focus on the ones, like I said earlier, that are beneficial the most. Like this one over here, it says werebear skill damage, overpower damage. See, in the late game, overpower really falls off. That's why we didn't pick this one, even though it has that 10% werebear skill damage. So we just completely ignored that. And in this Glyph socket here, we have the best Glyph in all of Diablo 4, the exploit Glyph. And the reason why we switched this one out is because we can get more dexterity in this tree versus the starting tree. So you're going to notice here it increases 4% vulnerable damage for every 5 dexterity purchased in range, which is just absolutely fantastic. So as you guys can see, we went around, we picked every single dexterity node that we could absolutely find inside of the Glyph's radius. So that increases our vulnerable damage up to 34.8% at 44 dexterity, which is the maximum amount. And the legendary node for this one is Survival Instincts right here in the middle, which is perfect. You kind of want to rotate the board as in a way where the legendary node is easily accessible. Now this one is right here in the middle, and it's really close to the Glyph socket. This one down here is over here on the left, which is okay because we're going to work our way up to the Glyph socket to the right to lead into our right and top board. So as you guys can see, we're kind of going off of what's easily obtainable and what requires the less Paragon points, because every decision you make with this Paragon tree is going to increase your build's potential. It can either lessen your potential or it can enhance your potential. So right here, we're picking up the Devastation rare node. This gives us boost to nature magic skill damage and damage to elites, which is an easy pick. A lot of the times in Nightmare Dungeons, and especially in the higher tiers, you're going to come across elites a lot. So we chose the 2 magic nodes to give us 8% damage to elites, and the one right here for 5% nature magic skill damage. We chose not to opt out for the second one for the nature magic, just because, like I said, every single node is going to be a choice you're going to have to make, and that's why I made this video. So right down here, we got Courage, 8% maximum life. That synergizes really well for our build because maximum life goes into fortify. The more maximum life you have, the more fortify you have, the more damage you do with overpower attacks. Like I said, overpower falls off in the late game, but it doesn't fall off completely. It still can be beneficial in specific scenarios. For the Glyph socket here, we chose Spirit. Now this is going to give us increased critical strike damage by 87.1%, but is also going to increase the damage an enemy takes from you by 2% for 20 seconds up to 12%. So that is just a great thing, because if you crit on an enemy and they don't die right away, you're going to deal 2% damage up to 12%. So let's just call it 12% extra damage, which is fantastic. And again, same story here. You want to pick up every single dexterity node because that's what's required. And in total, we got 44, which is about the maximum for any node tree cluster, I should say. Any Glyph socket cluster, it's going to be around 44. For the one down here, we picked up Nature's Will to give us nature skill damage, and again, willpower, because willpower is our class's main stat. And for the legendary node on this one is Constricting Tendrils. Now, since we don't have any way to poison damage or even use any poison damage or anything like that, we just opted just to ignore this completely and focus just on the Glyph socket for this specific Paragon board. Now moving over into our final Paragon board here, which is the rightmost Paragon board, we worked our way down, and obviously we went down here to pick this rare node up, which is Earth Scale damage and critical strike damage to crowd control enemies. Since we put slow on enemies, which is a version of crowd control, that is going to help us out a lot by basically giving us 15% critical strike damage to all enemies we encounter, which is great. So as you guys can see, there is a common theme here in which we picked, and that's why I wanted to make this video, because I feel like a lot of, like, when I first started out building my Paragon boards, I had no idea what the heck I was doing, and I didn't do this right at all. So the next rare node we're picking up is Earthen Power, because it gives us critical strike damage with Earth skills, and again, 20 willpower. You notice we're focusing on the ones that give us willpower, because like I said earlier, that's going to buff your skills no matter what skill it is. It's going to be benefited from having your class main stat. For the socket here, we picked up Outmatch. Now the great thing about this one is it gives 100% bonus to all rare nodes within range. So that means this one right here gets 100% bonus. This one right here gets 100% bonus. And how you can tell if it's in range or not, if it's in this red zone. So the red zone is the glyph socket range. If it's in this red, it's getting benefited from something that says grants 100% bonus to all rare nodes within range. So 29 out of 25 dexterity for this one. Same story, you want to go around, you want to look at all of the ones that have dexterity on them and pick those up, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. This one right here, 7, 14, 20, or sorry, 19, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Down here, the Oppress rare node, this gives us damage to crowd control enemies, critical strike damage against crowd control enemies. Like I said earlier, we crowd control a lot. So if your build has a lot of crowd control, then focus on that stuff. But this can be said for all classes though. You want to, like I said, on average, only pick about 2 to 3 rare nodes depending on how easily accessible they are, and then go for the legendary node if you're going to use it. Like if you're not going to use this legendary node here, there's no sense in wasting all of those nodes, those node points, Paragon points, in order to pick this up if you're never going to use it. Just focus on getting the glyph socket and move on to the next board. That's going to be how you're going to maximize your damage. That's how you're going to maximize your build's potential. So hopefully this video helped you out, man, because like I said earlier, this Paragon system, it's a lot different from Paragon systems in Diablo 3, and it's a lot more in-depth. So hopefully this video helped you. If it did, definitely let me know by dropping a like on the video. That would be greatly appreciated, man. And if you made it all the way till the end, if you found this video at all insightful or helpful, definitely let me drop it a like, man. And thank you all for watching. Hope to catch you all in a future video coming out soon. Stay safe, stay happy, and last but not least, stay gaming. Lion Gaming Crew, signing out.